Hello, and welcome to an all-new episode of Men and Women Talk, the Mars Venus Show. I am one of your hosts, Kente, all the way live from Los Angeles, California. And I'm so happy to be here with you on this Monday, post-Mother's Day. I am here with my beautiful and talented and wonderful co-host who I know had a lot of wonderful things happen yesterday, right?
Oh, I had fun. Yeah, I had a good weekend.
Okay, so they treated you right?
I mean, my Saturday was good. I did a indoor skydiving.
Oh wow.
That was pretty fun. I tried eating at a different place that I haven't tried in the city before. And yesterday was this thing called Chef Takeover that happens once a month in the city, where there's like a chef that comes in and provide these elaborate 6-course meals, different wines for you to sample. It was like, yeah, this is good. This will do.
Wow, that sounds wonderful.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you had a wonderful time, and I know you're here, ready, refreshed, and ready to get it going, right, Rasheen?
I don't know about the refresh part, but I'm here.
All right, so let's introduce our panel, and this young lady, I'm a huge fan of. Once again, met her as I did our other guests in the old platform called Blab. How you doing, Amira?
I'm doing Blacktastic.
Blacktastic, I love that. Blacktastic. I'm gonna use that.
That's got to be a thing. If it's not, it needs to be a thing.
Yeah, it needs to be.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Amira.
What you want to know?
Tell us what you do. Some of the things you're into, and I know you do programs and such. Tell us.
I do everything. I'm a jack of all trades, and I'm a master of it. As a matter of fact, not just really a jack, but a jack because we utilize the word jack because I don't know, jack says something good, I guess. But anyway, so I'm a revolutionary master healer. So I heal majority of our people, and a lot of our people are sick, and we're supposed to be because we're a different land and a different language and a lot of stuff we just don't get. So we need some help to cope through this stuff that we call life. Some readings, I do healing through herbs, through bath washes, through clearing chakras, anything dealing with your chakras, anything dealing with energy, I know how to tap into. I have several different gifts, on top of which I also I am in the movement on top of which. So I'm not just your average person, which sometimes I wish I was, but I'm not, and that's not my destiny. So basically, me as a Venus Sanko, I am following my destiny, and I recommend everybody else does too. So that's just a little bit about me, a little small tidbit. And also I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, and my son is having another someone else, but that's another story. And I'm really excited about that. And so I have healed many different people, and on top of healing other people, guess who else I'm healing? Me. Which doesn't make sense how you are a healer and you can't heal yourself. You actually have to heal yourself before you can heal others. So something depends on what's going on, because there's a way of mirroring things back at yourself. So that's me in a nutshell, and I'm part of the movement. So that's where you find me. Catch me outside, as they say.
Well, I'm glad that you are here, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say about the topic tonight. So thank you.
No, thank you, and thank all of y'all. I love y'all already. I can feel good energy.
All right.
So this next brother, as I mentioned earlier, I met him as well on Blab, and a big fan of him and his co-host, who I've had on our Black Empowerment program, and now I'm glad to have him on the relationship show, Mars Venus. Welcome to the show, Brooklyn.
Thank you.
So
Kente, thank you, Amira. Thank you, Rashim. It's great to see y'all. I miss our days on the blab. Are we good? Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, yeah, you're good.
Okay. You were looking around. I thought I disappeared or something. I miss our days on the blab, and I am a. I'm based in DC. I'm a matchmaker, a dating coach, with the Paul C. Brunson Agency. Been doing that for a few years. I really enjoy it. I love people. I have I have a lot of hobbies. I have um, a, a background in aerospace before I got into the relationship thing. Um, but I'm eager to talk about what we're talking about tonight. I think we're gonna have a great show. And I appreciate you guys inviting me on. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And when I knew I was doing this topic, I knew that you two were definitely the two that I wanted to have on this show to give me more insight about this topic as well. And I think that it's going to be a really good one. So, Rashim, are you back?
I'm here.
Oh, okay, cool. So, I like to, if I can, I always like to start off with a definition, and this is what I pulled up, and you guys tell me if you agree. And the topic of the show is soul ties, and this is the definition that came up. It says soul ties. Unhealthy soul ties are often the ramifications of having partners that you create a lifelong bond with through a sexual encounter, but with whom you only have a short-term relationship with. The bond or the soul tie remains long after the relationship is over, leaving both sexual partners longing for wholeness. Okay, so I wanted to start. I'm gonna start off with you, Amira. Do you agree with that as the definition of soul tie?
No, I don't. I'm just gonna tell you, no, I don't. Because when you start dealing with soul has a deep with soul. Yes, you can break the bond, right? But it has to be some either you want to break or they want to break, etc. To break the bonds. However, in dealing with souls, you're talking about the inner essence of you, the inner essence of your being, that energy. That is that's sort of a little bit more advanced than what they're saying. It's bigger than just that. It's not just sexual. It's like ordained before time, before space has created its ozone. And once I know I sound, God, I felt sounds like I'm on freaking sound like I'm on some dang on Planet of the Beyond's comedy show. But seriously, you have to being and the fact that you are connected with this bond, because then you start getting into soul mates and you start getting into twin flames and all these different areas. But when you talk about soul, you're talking about the essence of your exist. So you have this connection with this particular person before your body is even made, before you even have this little vessel. Okay. So that's created. So how is it just something sexual? You know what I mean? Because you're not having sex yet, because you develop to establish with this bond and this connection, this spiritual thing or spiritual being, spiritual existence with this person. So how can you just say it's sexual? How can we just say that it's something that is just temporary? Now, if you want it to be temporary or you wanted to learn a certain lesson, so that goes into a situation where some relationships, yes, or just for a season, where you're learning different lessons with. Some relationships are permanent lessons that is going to be with you forever, and certain other types of relationships or temporary lessons that you learn. And if you don't learn it, you're going to keep on attracting that same type of energy towards you. I know I went off on a tangent. You asked me the question, so I kind of had to go there. So the more and more of a soul that you get, and you can have more than one soul. Necessarily, I can't say it's just temporary. I can say it's temporary if you want it to be temporary, right? However, some things are just goes without saying. Some things are just a part of you. Some energies are just as easy as easy as you wake up when you go to sleep. I'm sorry, not wake when you go to sleep at night. You lay down and you do. Can't necessarily agree with that.
Okay, Brooklyn.
Trying to
Let me ask you then, Brooklyn. Do you agree with Amira that soul ties are not just through a sexual bond?
I'm still trying to figure out the having more than one soul thing. That part is new to me. I'm gonna have to have an aside with Amira to not slow down our discussion. But that's new information to me, and I like to explore that further. But I understand what the original soul ties thing is saying, but you can have a very deep connection with people, a soul connection with people, a soulmate connection with people, without having any sexual contact at all. However, I think that there are times in your life where things can really shift when you have a sexual relationship with someone, and it can be, it can be lasting, regardless of how many times the act itself occurred. There can just be a I don't want to get too spiritual about it, but there can be like a cosmic shift. There can be something really huge that occurs, that's unexplainable. Like, that's why people, I explain to people when I'm talking to people about it, like, you can have, I'm speaking as a heterosexual man. There are women that I find pretty, and then there are women that I find sexy. Some women are pretty and sexy, but they really don't have to have anything to do with each other. It's a vibe, it's an energy. There's something about the beauty that is women, and it's such beauty, it's such diversity, but there's something heavenly there, and it moves you. And if someone moves you in that way, and on top of that, you have a sexual connection with them, it can literally be life changing. So I think that the soul tie theory has credence to it.
It's interesting. I wonder, maybe because both you and Amira have a kind of I guess you guys are on the same page, but a little different. But I wonder, does it change with gender? Like, is a soul tie connection for a man different than for a woman, or is it all the same?
Well, it depends on the man and the woman, right? I mean, because you can be a man with masculine energy, or you can have more feminine energy. It's like there's so much difference from person to person. A lot of times when we're growing up, people have these very rigid, especially in America, people have these very rigid roles for men and women. And I think that especially for men get lost because they do not understand women, right? There are a lot of men, and I've known men like this, that absolutely do not believe or understand that a woman could just have sex with a man without caring a thing about him. Like, have sex with him, totally forget about him, or totally not care. It's possible because she's a human being with her own will. She can do any range of things, but people want to put other people into their little box. Conversely, I've known men, I know grown men, adults, friends of mine, who have fallen in love with every single woman they ever slept with. And I'm not talking about this is some high school kid, with his first girlfriend. I'm talking about a grown man It's like, oh God, I hope he does not have sex with her because he's gonna fall in love with her and she's not. I'm talking about that. So, you know,
Yeah.
They call it power.
but I've said too much.
No. That's good. That's good. Now, one of the things that I've learned to just avoid with all costs is, and this is from a man's point of view, is the woman who has that dude that they just can't shake. The guy that they had this relationship with this guy, and there's a couple of versions of this guy. There's the guy that they just, no matter what, they always end up back with this guy. And it never even makes sense. Like when you just look at it from a third, as a third party, and you look at the situation, there's nothing. You're sitting there like, this guy is a complete whatever you want to call him, and they just
a jerk, maybe arrogant, maybe a deadbeat.
Yeah, but they can't shake this cat, and so it's that situation.
Well, who can't shake who is the question.
That's true. Like when I even
I've heard of women telling a new guy, well, hey, there's this guy. Like that's your Blue's Clue. That's your red flag. You're dating a woman and she is, regaling you with stories of this other gentleman. Then you might want to, take that into account, especially if it turns into something where, you feel like she's still seeing the guy or she's still in love with the guy. I mean, I've seen men do that too. That's never happened to me because if, we're meeting and we're dating and you're still in love with someone else, or it seems like you're still on the fence, then there's no reason, like there's nothing for me there. There's nothing to explore.
Right.
We can talk. I'd prefer to date someone who is, open to dating. I mean, but the male ego can come into play. You want to wrestle this woman away from this guy she's been in love with for the last 15 years. Why?
Yeah, I don't like that. I'm not down with that.
It's a challenge for some people. It's a challenge to say that I took you away from your ex, or I saved you. I'm the man. Or women do it too, because I can't just say women. I can't just say men, because women
do it.
And women be like, I could save him. I could change him from his existing relationship, and I can show him what I'm made of, and I can show him the greatness that I have within me. And of course, thumbs down, because it doesn't really work out, because she is still, or he is still battling from this episode. They have not healed, and you have to give people time to heal. And I could tell you all kind of stories on client related. Also, I can tell you a personal story of me, the healer, that we went through, So it's been a lot of different things, of red flags. I call them that are on the game. Some of this stuff is games. So I call it the gaming field. And when you have certain things that you have not recognized within you, it's good to go through them so you can understand what your lessons are, because a lot of things are lessons for you. Unfortunately, there will be some casualties, and to prevent certain to be upfront and honest. And if a person chooses to go there with you, then is she actually a casualty, or is she a willing participant, or is he a willing participant? So these are things that we have to examine, because at the end, we don't be like, you did this to me, you did this to me, you did this to me, you did this. But what did you do? Because you knew up front that this person been with this person for 10 odd years, 5 years, 3 years, however long they've been with them a long time. They're still in love with them. They still have feelings. It's lukewarm. And any lukewarm feelings is not good to enter into, because lukewarm can actually turn hot. So eventually, but you know what you're getting yourself into, and you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to think about all these different variables. Now, we have to be honest. What part of what burden or mess learn from this person? Because everybody got some stuff about nasty, ugly, or beautiful, wonderful, inspiring, and these things. But it's just all about what part of that nastiness or what part of that goodness you want to deal with. Are you going to be unconditional with? Do you understand what unconditional is versus abuse? So
I think that there's a certain element of power dynamic. You know, there are people who have charisma, they have influence, they have connection with another person, and let's take it to a sports. I'm more of a car guy than a sports guy, but I'm a bit of a sports guy.
We can do both.
You can have there's some teams just have another team's number, you know, and they could lose all the time. You know, I'm a Giants fan, but we're here in DC. The Redskins can lose every game and beat the Cowboys, and you know, people will be happy. You know, like they can have that team's number. I think it's the same way with relationships and with human interaction. Someone could be a hard nut to crack. You know, this woman gives every man on the planet a hard time, but there's one guy with that lock combination. There's this one guy where it doesn't matter, 5 years have passed, it doesn't matter what. He has the power, has the charisma, has the charm to just have a connection with her. And you know, the same goes the other way around. So it's one of those things. I don't even know if you can help the connection, because if your soul is connected to someone else's soul, that, you know, you might have loyalties and responsibilities and commitments that, you know, you can't break, so you have to kind of stay away from that person. But sometimes you have that one true love or that one true soul connection.
Now, Rasheem, I know that you probably are the object of the connection. But my question to you is: has there ever been a guy in your life that has had that kind of hold on you, where it didn't even make no sense?
There's definitely been guys that I've been very physically attracted to. That physical attraction didn't like dissipate over time.
But you never where he was in your head, even when you were in other relationships. He was. I
mean, yeah, but I never felt like I was out of control from it. You know what I mean? I felt like it was a place that I could go to vacation for a while. In my mind, I could daydream there, but I didn't feel. I didn't feel like it was something that I necessarily had to act on. One, because I would still remember whatever it was that was keeping me from being with the person in the first place. And also, I think even more than passion and love, like, I find commitment sexy.
Really?
I find loyalty attractive at the very least. And I don't think I would be willing to sacrifice someone who is committed to me. Like, that is something that I would find a hard time doing something ill to a person who is committed and loyal to me. I just feel like that would just be like the worst betrayal. Like, I'm really big on being loyal to people who loyal to me. So while I may have still been like physically attracted and had chemistry with somebody in my mind, I feel even more stronger about being loyal to a person who's loyal to me.
Okay. Now, my question to the panel, and of course Rashim as well, is what are some of the signs that a person that you got involved with is hung up on a past lover? Besides maybe the obvious, what are some signs that that people kind of ignore, but they should definitely pay more attention to?
Carrying pictures, carrying that same energy of that person, going to the same places a person, carrying them to create new memories with you, talking to them, which is stating the obvious, right? Also, in thinking about them when they're asleep, calling out their name, the obvious, right? Also, just your everyday. Well, you know that happens. Don't play like y'all don't know that happens.
I'm just saying that
That's
you're
crazy.
using that as a sign. Like, that's more than a sign.
There's a neon
That's
sign.
one sign. I'm trying to tell you, people. Some people don't peep it.
If you need
Some
that
people
for
are
a
like,
Blue's Clue,
Right.
some people are like, no, that's just temporary. We can heal past that. It'll be okay. But no. Your everyday, when a person is not trying to commit to you, and it's like a blockage. It's like certain blockages that are holding them back, and you can more so tell. And it's not always that they're necessarily in love with that person, but they have not healed from that energy of that relationship, which is duly this almost the same thing, but it's one. So that's another talk about that later. But those are definitely signs. When a person won't give you their energy, won't give you your time, when they're not dedicating their time, and every time you try to do something new with them, they're not focused on you. So basically, when a lot of focuses has left the building, when it's never there to begin with, always around and won't leave.
I've run into both men and women who have this thing where they feel like they can break the bond or whatever they have with this person. Like I hear, I've heard women and men say this thing about, well, just give me some time and they're gonna forget about them. And I just think it's a fool's errand.
that's a fool's. Oh, knock on wood. I was about to say that is a fool's errand if I've ever heard of one. It's my methodology, to jump in real quick. My methodology is simple. I'm with Rashim. We're together. We're building something. We decide we're going to be together, and I trust her. I trust her, so I'm with her. I've never. It's never been anything other than that. If I don't trust you, I'm not going through your phone. I'm not following you around. I'm not hiring a private investigator. If it's something that you feel it or you don't. If I don't feel the love and the trust, the love and / or the trust, then there's nothing else. There's nothing else for you to do, because you can't convince someone to trust you. It's something they feel. And you can't make someone love you, because it's something they feel. So to me, people have complicated it, and that is your ego complicating it. I am going to make her love me. I am going to make her forget about him. That's not within your power.
Another thing too.
Or you just dumb. Or you just dumb.
Some men and women think this, that they can screw it out of the person. Like if like oh yeah, don't worry, when I give her the what, she gonna or
Yeah. I'm gonna put it down, you gonna fall in love. I'm gonna put it down, you gonna fall in love.
I've known
Sex magic.
I've known women to say to themselves, well, he has left, these women, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 women after having a child with them, but I'm different. You are not. Like, all the evidence has shown that it is extremely unlikely that it will end up any different. But you know, maybe perhaps that's human nature. We have gone to the moon. We have achieved great things. People have personally and together with others achieved great things in life. But you know, if someone is not for you, they're not for you. And to think that you are going to you know, it's again a fool's errand to think that, well, you know what, this person, man or woman, this person has done nothing to show that they're worthy of my time and attention. However, I want them, so I'm going to make them good. You can't make anyone good.
Right.
You can only get yourself hurt.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. I've heard it, and you know what's so funny is everybody you talk to believes they're different, unique, special. It's the funniest thing to me. Like you'll be talking to someone and they'll be like, you know, there ain't no other guy like me, or there ain't no other woman like me. And you be in your head, you be thinking you are exactly like everybody else. You know, maybe a little bit different. Like you may cross your legs funny, but you know, you're basically just like everybody else. You ain't that special. It's just funny to me. I've never heard somebody just say, you know, I'm just like everybody else.
Here's something I'm curious about. So it's actually two things, but I'll just narrow it down to one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious about the concept or the idea that soul ties are or need to be sexual. I mean, and then maybe I just need a clear definition in my head of like what a soul tie actually is. Because I feel like there are some things that have been red flags. Okay, just give some background. For example, my daughter's father and I are no longer together. Mm-hmm. We were really good friends for a really long time. I've known him 17 years now. And he just has this habit, and I think it's because we've been friends we were friends before my daughter. We've been friends like through this whole process. He had this habit that he just recently kind of broken a little bit of comparisons, of saying things that like, you know, or like asking me for advice, and I'll give advice. And then he will then use that advice, but then let it slip up that I gave him that advice. And it's been really sabotaging to all of his relationships. And none of that has ever been my intention. But I really don't feel like there's like a soul tie, definitely not in a sexual sense. But I definitely feel like
he'll tell the women that he got the advice from you.
It would come up. Because they would actually end up asking, who told you to do that? Or where did you come up with this? Or they'll see somehow, either from asking my daughter, or looking at my Facebook, that I went to a particular place. And then so he would, you know, then they would know where he got it from.
It sounds I'm sorry. It sounds like he's trying to make them jealous because, like, why even go through all of that? Is it just me? But it just sounds like will them in. See, my ex still want me, so you need to want me. You know what I mean? Kind of like
love triangles.
I think
work.
A lot of. Go ahead.
Love triangles work.
What do you mean?
It's I don't want to use the word sinister, but as you alluded to earlier, Kente, when someone is like, oh, you know what? I can do better. What was that? I Can Love You Better. Wasn't that a Mary J. Blige song?
Right.
The whole I Can Love You Better thing, right? It's like, oh, you know what? If you don't appreciate me, allow me to dangle my beautiful ex in front of you, or allow me to, my ex was this astrophysicist. Let me introduce you to him. You know, like people do some really crappy stuff to each other. And I'm not even saying that, for instance, in Rashim's case, that this guy did anything on purpose, But men are forgetful in that men do some really basic stuff where women tend to look into everything that was said. Well, this guy's not good at planning stuff, but that sounds pretty intricate. Who told you about that? And the answer better be your mom, your sister, you know, your
Right.
homegirl that I'm not worried about because I've met and I've screened her and I know she's not interested in you like that. But the answer is Rashim. I already Facebook stalked her. I know that she's pretty. I know where she lives. I know y'all have a child together. Rashim, I am not going to Shea Whitey with you on Rashim's,
Right.
you know, recommendation.
And that has been almost like literally how some of those things have gone down.
That is as predictable as drinking a whole entire bottle of Hennessy, driving 50 miles and getting pulled over for DUI at some point. If this is what is going to happen,
Yeah.
if you practice this type of tomfoolery.
Yeah.
It seems like
he has Google like everyone else.
It doesn't seem sad. It seems sabotagery, and it doesn't seem like he's really over you.
I think he is. I will say this. Here's what I believe. Right? I believe that he's over the possibility that me and him could be ever together. I believe he's completely over that. Like at this point in the game, he has to be.
He has to be because you want him to be. Because why?
I don't believe it either, Rasheen. I mean,
Brooklyn,
Google,
you have
I'm giving you a
exes that
Google
you're
Hangout
over.
hug. Huh?
Say that again.
I said I'm giving you a Google Hangout hug because you actually believe what you just said.
It's not true.
You don't have exes that you're over?
We're talking about your ex.
I'm over my ex.
They're not Rasheen.
So why wouldn't he be able to be the same way?
No. He's able to be, except he's not.
But how would you be able to say that?
By the fact that he is willing to endanger every relationship by putting you.
Sabotage.
Look, he can. I don't know what kind of phone he has, but Yelp and the entire Google and the entire what's that little burgundy book, the Zagat survey. All of that is available to him without asking you, because when she's sitting in where's that place we went this weekend? When she's sitting in Michelle Richard Central on Pennsylvania Avenue, and she's like, "This is really nice. How'd you come up with this?" Out of 1 to 100, the top 250 answers better not be Rasheen. So, you know, if he's still putting himself in a position where that answer is Rasheen, you know.
I think he just doesn't tell them now.
Sis.
But if he doesn't tell them, fam, if he doesn't tell them, but he's still using that information from you,
it's just as worse.
Okay.
Come on, look.
I don't see that equaling that, but I see where you're coming from.
Listen. Okay.
Just because you don't see it don't mean it doesn't there. So just because I don't necessarily feel this particular energy does not mean that the energy is not there. So
do you know that, and stop me if this is something that you've already known, and maybe it's something we talked about in Blab. You can put 3 frogs in a pot and they will not jump out of the pot as long as you turn the heat up slowly. They will never, ever say, they're trying to boil us. Let's get the hell out of here. They will never do it because you're turning the heat up slowly. And they're amphibians, so they're cold-blooded. And they're just going to be whatever temperatures outside. So if you are, I'm not saying that this man is currently on a quest to get you back, right? I'm not saying that because you would know that. He has your phone number. You guys have a child together. But between the fact that you have a child together and you're friends on another level, it's just something that's going to be threatening to other relationships.
I get that. I
mean, but he makes it more threatening, not less threatening. You see what I'm saying? Because there are many situations we're all old enough to know people who are co-parent and things like that, and there are women who are like, you know what, Rasheem is cool. I don't see her making any moves on my man. You know, I'm cool with her daughter. She's cool with me. I can drop the daughter off myself without her ex even being around. We can just be 100% cool. But those women are women who are assured they're confident women in the first place. That's foundation level. But on top of that, they're getting the vibe from you that you don't want your ex anymore. And they're getting the vibe from him that he doesn't need you to do anything else but be a good mother to his daughter. You see what I'm saying? He's not calling you.
Yeah.
He's not calling you to talk about Scandal or Billions or Westworld. He's not calling you to get a restaurant recommendation. He's not calling you to ask what to get his girl for her birthday. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know,
I get it.
If you're over here emailing him the best resort in Punta Cana to take her on Valentine's Day, then she's gonna be like,
no, I get it. I mean, I will say this. I definitely feel like for the most part, his lady friends and the one that he's with now, which I really like her. I definitely feel like they know that I don't want him.
It's not about you wanting him or not wanting him, and that's obvious, right? But it's about, I'm a reader. Did y'all know that too? But it's about that.
Read the mirror. I'm cheering you on.
It's about that energy. And I'm telling you, there's still of control. Some on his end, there's still some level of him not exactly over certain aspects of you all. Regardless of whether y'all friends or not, regardless of whether you not, because as women, sometimes we don't want to see a shit. When we don't want to see shit, we're going to wear blinders and we're going to go straight ahead. And we're not going to focus on anything else around us. We're going to focus straight ahead. And we know what we want with the existence of our lives. So for example, I know that I want $1 million. I don't give a damn about nothing else around here. I don't care if somebody give me 1,000. I'm like, thank you, but I'm still going to keep moving. I'm not going to stop $1 million. So everything else someone has to say, and that you're not going to get, I'm not even listening to them because I am focused on what? Getting and obtaining that $1 million. Nothing else matters. So you at this stage is over it. You good? You need some help? I'll help you with him, right? But there's still a certain level of energy because who in their right mind? I would not call my ex, and I have an ex-husband, okay? And we're cool. We still, cohabitate in a cool way because we do have children. But I don't call him and ask him about no damn restaurants. I'm not calling him and asking him nothing. He damn sure better not calling me and ask me about no restaurants. He get ready to take another female too. He better do that on his own time. And there is Google, and there is he has a mother. He has other friends that he is way more closer to in his own state that he can connect with. So why is he calling his ex? Why? Because he's trying to say something within the universe, and maybe it's a situation where he's not aware of, but there is something he's still not over all in this information, which is why he's running from girlfriend to girlfriend to girlfriend. He's not settled yet. Trust me.
Think about it like this, Rasheem. I think this may be a way to think about it. Think about it as your ex, your baby daddy, or whatever you want to call him. At one point in his life, he was eating steak. Now he's eating Spam.
She's not Spam.
So now he kind of wish he can go back to steak Like he didn't appreciate.
I don't.
He didn't. Wait, let me finish.
We're gonna switch it off of me.
He didn't appreciate the T-bone that he was having.
We're gonna
now
switch it off of me.
So now he wants to.
I do not believe. I really, honestly, do not believe that he is actively pursuing a relationship.
No, he's not. He's just.
I really don't. I do believe that he needs to rely on other sources for things.
I feel like I know I did at least a dozen blabs with Rasheem, and have never seen that rosy blush in her cheek.
You never seen what now? Say that again.
I didn't touch that.
The current rosy blush, the rosy blush in your cheeks. Like, I'm gonna get this off of me.
Yeah, we got it.
Oh, this is
There's a
priceless.
Because I honestly, one, I don't feel like that's true. I mean, I don't feel like he still has any type of tie. Two, this is not what the subject is about, right? I threw that out there, but this is not what the subject is about. And just to pivot back, and just so that I can have a clear understanding, and so our listeners can have a clear understanding about what this show is about, soul ties. I actually have another question.
Talking about Rasheem.
What now?
It is connected.
It sounds like the soul is tied.
No, it's not.
You all have a child together. There is a level of soul there. Now, it may not be something that you want, obviously, or past, and you're like, okay, we co-parent, etc., and that's what it is. If you're there, if he needs you, he can count on you to a degree, depending on what it is, right?
To take Rasheem off the hook. Okay, so let's talk about. I mentioned there's a couple of soul ties that I really, really avoid, right?
Go ahead.
And we already talked about the one, which is the boyfriend, who she just can't get out of her head. The other one is the boyfriend who died, or the husband who died, who all of a sudden becomes Mr. Perfect. And you can't. I always say you can't compete with the ghost. You can't compete.
When he treated her like crap the whole time he was with her. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't compete with a ghost. So, have you guys know about that one? The one who died, and then all of a sudden he or she is the saint, and and all of that goodness.
So have I ever dealt with that as one of my clients, or have I ever dealt with that as far as a relationship wise?
Either way.
Well, no, I have not dealt with that as far as a relationship wise, but I've definitely dealt with that as far as client wise, because a lot of us have been with someone, an ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, what have you, that may have transcended, or who has maybe just died to them, because death is more than just someone spiritually passing on to the next realm. It could also be an end of a relationship. It could be a severed relationship form of death to a person. So in understanding that, yes, I've dealt with that with a lot of my clients who has a memory that does not exist in their own head. That's not really there. It's just an existing in their own head. And they're establishing that because they're wanting to, perceive this person as the best person in the world. I have friends who've been, married to one of my best friends that was not the best person to them. Very good person, but not to them. And of course, they might have certain things that might resemble different entities and just dealing with passing. So yes, there is a lot of competing with that ghost. And what has to happen is number one is people need to wait before they get into these relationships with these persons who are vulnerable. Because when a person's already vulnerable, it doesn't make sense for you to jump into that relationship, because you are going to compete with the ghost. Now, is that your fault or is it that person's fault? Because that person is vulnerable. So you, as a sound mind and body person, it doesn't make sense for you to even get into relationship until they have healed from the ghost. And you'll know because you can smell it, and they will basically talk about it a certain kind of way. So as a ghost, you can't compete with the ghost. You shouldn't try. It is not going to work time. So even befriending the person, even being a friend and being there for that particular person, bad idea, but at the same time, you're not a counselor. So unless you got some kind of life coaching certification and you got trained in it or something like that, but then you're dealing with one of your patients. So that you have to really weigh out what it is that your expectations are, because that goes back to that whole theory with hot ass fire. Very hot. So why jump into fire when you know it's going to be hot? You know the touch of it, the smell of it is going to burn your ass. So why put yourself in that situation as opposed to standing back and letting that person to have time to heal? Because you have a fear of that person either dating or finding someone else, or there may be a fear level within yourself of going with someone that is not obtainable to you. And that's another issue, that people sometimes jump into relationships they know aren't going to work. They know for a fact. They feel it. They know it. They smell it. They breathe it. And they jump in anyway, saying to themselves or saying to others, this is going to work. But you already know this person is in love with somebody else, or this person is in love with the ghost. So you have to live up to that type of person. You got to live up to that expectation of person. And to be honest with you, sometimes that person wasn't shit to begin with. I'm just going to speak frank. So when you get with them and then you're like expected to do all these things to jump, y'all ever seen Golden Girls? Don't laugh at me. I love Golden Girls, y'all. But we're watching Golden Girls.
Golden Girls classic.
Man, Charlie Nyland was like the perfect man. He could do no wrong. And you know how Niles, Rose's current boyfriend, he done so crazy. He done jumped out of an airplane just to compete with a ghost. And Charlie never jumped out of an airplane, right? And he ended up in the hospital, right? Because he tried to compete with an existing. It was just an entity.
Amira.
Yeah, wasn't a good businessman.
What's the difference between what's the difference between a soulmate and a twin flame?
Well, twin flame is a higher connection. Higher. I'm with my twin flame. Actually, it's deep. So that's another story. And I had my soul. My ex-husband is my soulmate. Is that crazy story? But anyway, so a twin flame is a way like to the ultimate octane love affair that you can ever have, and y'all really can't leave each other alone, and y'all have been ordained together for years, centuries and centuries and centuries and centuries, until y'all can get it right. It'll be beautiful. Now the soulmate is something about the thing within the essence of your being. When you takes a little bit longer to get past, always be, or it's going to be some type of connections within that with particular entities. Now those can be broken. Soul ties and souls can be broken, because also along with, so understand that it's not necessarily just soulmates, but you can also have a soul connection with one of your children, and your children, the child that you have now or children, may have been your child way back when. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why you all have a certain type of connection. You might have 10 children, right? I'm just giving an example. I'm not trying to put nobody out there to have 10 children, okay? It's out of that 10 children, you might have where y'all more closer. And it's not that you're showing favoritism. It's not that you love them less or more or whatever, but you all have this deep connection. And because you guys have this deep connection, the other children don't necessarily understand it. They might respect it or they might be jealous of it, but even they can see it. So a soul tie is basically connected to anybody. You could be connected to this person. You could be connected to, for example, this shit. You know, it's a soul. It's just your soul, your essence being connected to an object or connected to someone or something. But it doesn't have to be connected to soul to sex. And you don't always have to be with your twin flame. You don't always have to be with your soulmate. Sometimes you might end up meeting your soulmate. Sometimes you may never meet your soulmate. You may never meet your twin flame, but you just so happen to get with somebody, y'all love each other and die old together. And that's what it is.
So what exactly is the difference? Like how would a person who's in a relationship with different people be able to identify which one of those they're with?
How you can identify your soulmate? Spiritual connection. Y'all spiritually yoked. Y'all spiritually bond. Feel each other's thoughts. Y'all can feel each other's memories. When that person is hurt, you can feel it. For example, my mate got shot. I felt it. Is that deep? He got shot. I knew exactly. It ain't just because I'm a reader. You're a reader, you know that. No, you just know. It's a known factor. It's a feeling. It's an essence that you get when you're around him. The whole world does not. I don't see shit but this person when we're together. So whether it be sexual, whether it be spiritual, whether it be physical, whatever we go through, it's just ordained, and it's to the point where can I share this with y'all?
Mm-hmm.
Can I keep it real?
Keep it real.
We broke up a little while ago for a while. Who does that, right? So it's still.
You broke up. You broke up there a second. I couldn't hear what you were saying.
I said we broke up for a minute, and it's something that within that essence where I just knew. It's not just because I'm a reader, because I can read people, because I understand stuff, but it's just the point that even he understands it. And when both people know, see, knowing, it's both people knowing. Sometimes it may take one person, but eventually they will know. And when you know that this is your soulmate and you've been around or with your soulmate, then it does matter. It does hold an essence. And so it's not just about you leaving that person alone, because alone. Sometimes people can break apart.
You with your twin flame now, right?
Yes.
So if your twin flame met someone who was his soulmate, would that be an issue for you?
Well, it depends on what you're talking about, because there is a such thing as polygamy, right? There is a such. See, we got to be.
So then, would it be an issue for you? I'm saying for you personally, like with all of your knowledge of the different types of relationships that exist. Is that something, would you be more I'm wondering, like, if you would be more understanding than the average person, because you're like, you know what, me and you, we're twin flames, but I know you and this other person, y'all are soulmates. I totally get it. I totally understand.
No, because when you just because you meet a twin flame, or just because you meet your soulmate does not mean you need to be with that soulmate. You know what I mean? Because not every soulmate, because you know how many soulmates you may have 10, so you're gonna be with all of them. You may not ever meet them.
So guys, if your woman walks in on you cheating, just say, oh no, that's my soulmate.
And I'm gonna beat everybody's butt in the room. Now
let me know how that works out for you, Kente.
Right. But no, it's not a situation where okay, so let's look at it on the terms of, let's look at it on a hierarchy, right? Okay. I hate to do this, but it's just easier to explain. So a twin mate, a flame, is higher than a soulmate.
Right,
so in an essence, if I've met my soulmate, I've been with my soulmate, I've already been there. I have two, may not ever meet them. You understand what I'm saying? I may or may not meet them. And if I do, that doesn't mean that I'm going to just be with them because we have the soul connection. We might just be best friends. Like we had a very strong connection. It was very soul connection, right? But that was my best friend. We never had sex, never kissed, only hugged, like if he was crying or if I was crying, that kind of thing. And he's dead now. That's what I'm saying. So not everybody, just because somebody's your twin flame, does not mean that you're all going to be together. Or you might not meet them.
So Brooklyn, how often do you find in your thing of, you know, being a matchmaker that you are, that guys are looking for their twin flame and soulmate? You're on mute for some reason. Did you mute yourself?
Yeah.
You're muted. Your microphone is off.
That's strange.
All right. While Brooklyn gets that sorted out, I'm just curious about the level of I don't know, like the degree of responsibility it might take off of a person for making a conscious choice about who they love and who they allow to love them. Because it seems like a person could probably use those, and I'm not saying that they're not real things, but unless there's a more concrete way to get at it, it could be easily where a person, just like Kente said, if guys find themselves cheating, they could be like, but baby, she my soulmate. But go ahead, Brooklyn, how often do you find it in your matchmaking, are guys looking for soulmates and soul ties?
Oh, well, you originally asked about twin flames. I didn't even hear about the twin flame until we were deep in the blabs last year. But I think people in our business, people are just looking for a compatible connection, someone that they can get along with, someone that they're attracted to. Excuse me. But the twin flame and the soulmate, well, people ask about soulmates, but mostly they want compatibility. When people are looking towards dating advice and matchmaking, it is because they feel like they've fallen short and haven't been as successful as they wanted to be. So they feel like they want help. And even if they are successful, like they're successful at meeting people, successful at dating, a lot of times they want something specific. You know, for instance, they want someone who looks a certain way. They want someone who is a professional like they are. Like, oh, I keep meeting women, but none of the women are educated, and I'd like to get married. I'd like my kids to be taught by someone by me and someone else who is an educated person as well. People have all manner of, not judging, just saying from experience, people have all manner of checklists in their own head as to who they want to be with and why they want to be with them. I mean, and it could be anything. Like, you know, it's like, if you have not been to at least 7 Black Lives Matter rallies, then we can't date. If you have not been to an Ivy League college, we can't date. If you don't believe in X, Y, and Z, if you're not also a vegan, if you haven't been to 2 CrossFit championships, you would be surprised, but there's a level of reality that you have to bring. Not that anyone is out of your league or anything of that nature, but you have to be realistic. For instance, Idris Elba is not coming to your living room if you are not leaving your living room. You know what I'm saying? Now, not to say you can't meet him. You can't be visiting Hollywood or visiting Las Vegas and run into him and meet him and attract each other. But if you are at home watching Netflix in your bunny slippers and you never go out and you're telecommuting from home, it's unlikely that he would get lost in your neighborhood and ring your bell. Is all I'm saying.
Listen,
Rasheem, you missed your opportunity because he was in Baltimore for a while.
Look. Do not play with me. As much as I like chocolate, do not play.
He was in your hood for a while. And you
Let me find out.
I'm rooting for you, sister.
He probably never going back to Baltimore after that. But that's interesting. It's funny. Like, we're talking about a connection on a deeper level. Now, this is gonna sound crazy, but I swear it's true. I was looking for the article that I read once. You guys have heard about when someone's pregnant, that their husband feels sympathy pains, right? They're so connected to their spouse that they feel their pain, right? When they're giving birth, right?
Mhm.
Well, this is
Heard of the guy's getting chubby by eating everything she eats. So I didn't.
well, I seen one where dude so in love with his woman, they have such a connection that when she's on her period, he actually everything but the bleeding. He feels everything but the bleeding. And I said to myself, you know, I love.
I wish I could roll my eyes harder. I wish there was an audible sound to me rolling my damn eyes right now.
Like,
Look, I love, and I'm a romantic and all of that.
Like, for real, like, I don't even know if I want you to feel that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a reason that you and I'm me. I don't need you feeling everything.
No, right, exactly.
I don't want to be that much in love. I'm sorry. I don't want to ever be in that much love where we on the rag together.
Defend your house,
I guess,
or fight off a burglar,
possible.
or take the trash out or something instead of feeling period pain.
Yeah, like that is so not like that would be something that would be a turnoff for me. Like, seriously.
Let me ask you a question.
Now we getting back to our old selves, Rasheem. Now we're back.
Let me ask you a question, Rasheem. Though, if you all right, what if the guy you with, he was so connected to the last woman he was with, he was feeling the menstrual situation, but now he's with you and it's nothing like that. Would you think he loves you less?
First of all, if he felt anybody else's menstrual, he's probably not the dude for me. All right. Because I want to see some baby pictures now. How long you been? You know what I mean?
Hey, they say it's a real thing. I never want to experience that. They say it's real.
Nah, that's unnecessary.
That is the softest thing I've heard since baby shit.
I mean, anything's possible. I don't render anything out. Have I ever had a client come and tell me? And if he thought it, I would prefer him not to share that in our sessions, because otherwise I'm going to have to recommend that he get some of my herbs that would balance some things out, because I help with depression and amongst delusions and things like that. So I am a herbalist, so I can definitely help him with that if he's feeling that. But okay.
Someone's wondering to know where they can leave a comment at. My screen is different from theirs.
If they're on you, where are they? Are they on YouTube?
Are you on YouTube? Text me.
There's a chat to the right.
There's a chat to the right on YouTube. Sorry about that. My screen is way different from y'all's. So
that's gonna be cooler.
Well, I want to see how your screen look.
But yeah, that's some real love right there. But okay, so before we get to the last part, which is how to break the bonds, you know, there's so many things when it comes to past loves and different relationships that you've been in. I think it's all like, I think every experience you have is a building block for hopefully the successful one that you're going to ride out the rest of your years out in, hopefully, if that works out. So my question for you two, our panelists, is when you've experienced this bond with someone where it's very strong to the point where it's affecting your, now we're saying it from the point of view that you are the person that's affected by this, where it's making it hard for you to carry on with other relationships, because let's say if it's a dude, he still got a mirror on the brain. If it's a woman, she still got Brooklyn on the brain, and it just affecting their relationships going forward. How is there a way that the person is this something that's going to go away with time? Is there something you can do to break the bond? Are you just fucked? I mean, what's the deal?
I do it all the time because it's called bond break. I've done it in a lot of different people that's like from their spouse, they're about to be a divorce, or they're just getting out of a bad relationship, or they're wanting to just move on, or their spouse may have, transitioned to a different realm. So it's different ways you can certainly, get over a person. I'm talking about it from a spiritual standpoint. Now, when we talk about it from a different standpoint, like a matter of, getting over someone when you all break up. So of course, there can also be a way, because out of sight, out of mind is usually the best medicine. And based to know yourself all over again and establishing a friendship within yourself. And I know people be like, you will date yourself. I don't know about dating yourself. I'm okay with you being around yourself. I wouldn't call it date. I don't want to date myself. I don't know about anybody else, but I like male energy. So I'm not gonna date myself. I don't know what the hell that's some mess to say. But if you choose to say that, cool. I'm not. But there's definitely ways that people can get. As a matter, I have actually a book that will be coming out on breakups. So it will get into all of that and how to get over a breakup. Because again, when you break up with somebody, sometimes we do the most craziest stuff. And I'm telling you, by the textbook, by the book, and because your ass done lost your mind because you didn't and chocolate cake, and then after this person just dumps you, leaves you alone, and tells you to get on with your life, and you of course are struggling to get on and move on with your life because you still have this feeling for this person. You don't love them, or maybe you actually do love them, but they didn't love you back. You didn't get it back. So get over someone, you have to really do some soul, since we're talking about soul, right? You have to do soul searching and establish yourself as an entity, as your own entity, because you have to get your own independence back. You have to become more dependent on yourself as opposed to dependent on that person for that particular emotion. And a lot of times we get so dependent on relationships where we lose ourselves to begin with, and that's probably more than likely where that person probably wanted to get rid of us in the first place, because we were so dependent on them emotionally, so dependent on them for financially, just everything, and our whole entire life evolved around them instead of having a separate life. It's not saying a separate, but you're able to exist without them. So when you enter in relationships, you have to still establish your own bond within yourself. You still have to be able to do things without them around all the time. Can you go out of town by yourself? Can you go to the grocery store by yourself without experiencing draw? Because you know what I mean? You're so dependent on that energy. So if you don't have that and you're able to, you have to talk about preventative measures to even think about and entering these relationships, because you still have a person to begin with before love even comes into play. But anyway, that's just what I know.
Let me ask Brooklyn this question, because it'll be along the same lines. And it's man to man. All right, I'm speaking a little code, but you'll know what I'm talking about. The cookies are great. The cookies are hot and fresh. Cookies are wonderful. The cookies are the best cookies you may have had ever. But the cookies ain't good for you though.
This is supposed to be code.
Cookies are not good for you. Cookies, them cookies put you in a bad place.
Why they're not good?
Person who supplies the cookies is not someone you need to be messing with.
Why?
They no good. They bad business.
They crazy.
They crazy. Whatever you want to use that would make great cookies. Not worth.
Just hook up with them for the cookies, and that's it.
Now that we've exceeded the limit of the word cookie tonight. So the sex is incredible, but you feel like you shouldn't be with the person.
Right.
What do you do then?
Yeah, but you let them cookies though.
Enough to let the cookies control you? You talking about me?
Sometimes people let cookies.
I haven't been controlled by cookies.
A lot of a lot of guys do though. They do all kind of. They sign over they'll sign over their car for them cookies.
Yeah, but I mean, that is a mere, that example is just it's just financial. Like people have wildly varying wildly varying differences in what they're willing to outlay financially with regards to how they value a person or even goods and services, for lack of a better term. But it's difficult because people react differently. There are people who can compartmentalize and say, you know what, this person is a horrible human being. And I mean, you can get great sex from horrible people because there's not much else to get from them.
Right.
I mean, the world is littered with men and women who have, who had this incredible sex with the person who stole their car, got them pregnant, didn't help with the kid, robbed them or whatever. Like it happens all the time. So what I was going to say to your earlier question was that as people, we always want better. And the older you get, the more experienced you get. That's why I think it's good to have experience, to date a few people, to know exactly what you want. And then when you get older and wiser, I'm not talking about, a whole bunch of years later, but when you have some experience, you can know exactly what you want. And that way it can always improve. Because if you meet a woman tomorrow, right? Or tonight when you get off this show with us, she's supposed to be better, and she should be better than your ex and your ex before her and your ex before her, because theoretically you're making better choices.
Theoretically.
Like you're making better choices each time. If you excuse me, if you're a man or a woman, if you're a woman and you're dating this guy and you're like, you know what? 3 boyfriends ago, that guy was a much better man than this guy. Dave was a much better guy than Sean. What the hell are you dating Sean for? Like, why would you even date someone who does not live up to the standard that you've set for yourself? And that standard should have a lot of different layers to it. And some it should be exactly that. It should be a standard. You should,
I mean, don't people date sometimes to fill the time for their ideal person? Like, have you had guys that are like, this is my ideal person, but since I don't have them right now, there's other people in the meantime?
I'm not talking about when I'm not talking about getting coffee with somebody who is cute. I'm talking about when you are I need to clarify that. I'm talking about I'm talking about serious relationships. Like you can date 20 people, but you've only had 4 boyfriends. You know what I'm saying? Like when you decide that this is someone who I love, or this is someone I'm going to be serious about. I'm talking about those guys. That's why I gave the examples of the Sean and the Dave. Like Sean was your boyfriend and Dave was your boyfriend. Not just some guy, you're cute enough. Yeah, I'll let you buy me a drink, or we can go to the movies, but I'm not saying I like you like that. You might be in a friend zone. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about and most people have relatively few very serious relationships, I'm talking about the serious relationships. In those, we have to, we have to make better choices. If you're 20 and you're dating someone only because they're cute, okay, you shouldn't be 40 dating somebody only because they're cute. I'm just saying that's my personal opinion. That's how I feel about being an adult, because as an adult, like, we value time more and more and more as time goes on, because we realize how short life is. So that you have to set a standard for yourself, and, like, you know what, you don't fit within my standard. You're obviously a pretty crappy person. I'm not even going to give you a chance to come and try to ruin my life. Did I adequately answer your cookie question, Kente?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And the cookies be good. All right. So
yeah, you can't let your life get ruined by the cookies. I mean, many have. Millions, possibly billions of men have.
Women have too.
That's true. That's true. But we can't call them cookies, though. We got to call it something else.
Chocolate stick?
There you go. The chocolate stick.
Well, it might be a different color chocolate. It might be a different stick. It could be a white chocolate stick. I don't know. You know what I'm saying.
Snicker bar. All right. So we have in the chat, I have a question that I'm gonna play. My friend Josh recorded the audio for this, and you can read along. Can you guys see it in the right?
I wrote.
It's in the chat section, group chat.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna play it, and then we're gonna talk about it. All right. Here we go.
I miss my old girlfriend. I really like this girl. We've never met, but I feel a strong attraction to her. One day I wrote a letter to her telling her that I liked her. I wasn't asking her out on a date because I'm too scared to date, then lose that person like my last girlfriend. I just wanted someone who could be closer than a friend, someone who I could really open myself up to. I don't trust my family or my other friends because my family gives and talks about secrets like everyday conversations, and my friends are in another world. I can only trust somebody for whom I felt the same as I did my last girlfriend, who I fell in real love with. I still love her, even after 3.5 years. I'm too scared to talk to the last girl, and she has a boyfriend, and I don't want to interrupt the relationship. Well, this other girl who I wrote the letter to has a boyfriend, but I didn't know about it. I wrote her another one asking for forgiveness and a response if she wanted to say anything. And she hasn't responded yet. I want to fix this problem, but I can't since she's not listening to me. I don't know what to do. I was just asking for somebody to talk to about my problems, but now I'm totally confused what to do. She understands me. I believe she still thinks I was trying to ask her out, but I want to explain to her my real intentions. I don't know what to do at all. I'm restless every night, averaging 3 hours of sleep.
So Brooklyn, help this guy out. He wants advice on what he should do in this situation.
Never contact her again. He should also seek some therapy on a very serious note, because his level of social anxiety is a problem. If you can't speak to his ex-girlfriend and he has to write a letter to not even ask this woman out, just to let her know that he likes her, he may have some crippling anxiety issues. But I mean, it's all about communication. I think that I think that things get weird and creepy when you make them weird and creepy. You know, like you wrote her a letter. She's like, "Hey, Brad, I got your letter, but hey, I have a boyfriend, so we can't talk like that." Oh, and this is an amateur hour move when a guy is like, "Oh, I wasn't asking you out, or I didn't like you." I mean, and guys can go nice with it, or they can go mean with it, right? Because it didn't go their way. Because if she was like, "Oh, you like me? I like you too. Let's hang out," he would be all there.
Right.
So this whole, "Oh, I hope you understand I wasn't trying to ask you out." Yeah, you absolutely were, first of all. So he needs to get his approach anxiety out of the way. He needs to stop this. I'm writing her a letter and we haven't even spoken. He needs to stop this. I need to contact the ex-girlfriend. What he needs to do is get some friends, get some hobbies, get some things going on in his life where he feels like he can operate as a human being and as a man. And then, with very few exceptions, you can't, a person like that cannot operate in the romantic realm without, without practice and without confidence. He has zero confidence.
Is that something that can be, can somebody, if there's like a Will Smith from Hitch type figure that can help help this cat, or is he lost to the game with?
No, there's always practice makes perfect. So if you hang out with someone knowledgeable or just by yourself and you practice and you talk to people, because people are shy. Everyone is not like us. We're on a show, coast to coast. We're together. We're talking at any number. It could literally be 1 million people listening to us. So even if we're introverted in our daily lives, we can get extroverted for something like this. We can talk to strangers and talk to the world. I have enough empathy to know that everyone can't do that, right?
Right.
However, practice makes perfect. Even with my clients, I tell them, "Hey, everybody goes to Target. You're in Target, you're picking out a card for a baby shower, a wedding, or your nephew's birthday, and you see a cute guy, say hello, start a conversation, and you don't know what that can lead to, and it's the same for men and women, because people are definitely afraid. I mean, the worst thing that can happen, someone might be married, they might be already in a relationship, they might be uninterested in you, but you have to get that practice. If you've only said hi to 3 people, or if you've never said hi to anyone, you've never initiated any contact, if you don't do that, then what will you do? Idris could pop up and now you won't know what to say because you have no practice talking to other human beings outside of work scenario. So I think that's what he needs to do. He needs to get his social skills up, and he needs to meet more women. I mean, this is unlike a bad school system where throwing money at the problem isn't the solution. Like, the solution to having social anxiety is putting yourself out there, meeting people, dating, trying to date, talking yourself up to it. I mean, practice makes perfect. If you practice saying hello to strangers, eventually you realize that no one is slitting your throat with a knife because you said hello.
Right.
So
right. Yeah.
That's what that guy needs. Was that a random example, or was that a real person that wrote in?
It was a real person, yeah, from of course these people never leave their names or whatever, but I've met a lot of cats like that who have that, that thing. I mean, adult males, and it's always crazy to me. And I can only imagine it's a real turnoff, right, Amira?
Yeah, well, sometimes it depends on their relationship with women in general, and that could go back to the first teacher, which is their mother. Okay, so some things can certainly happen in that respect, but I would advise them to hire someone like me, a life coach, that can certainly help them to do that. I don't necessarily, because yeah, they can get out there and get out the awkwardness, because and then we got to remember some people are just really awkward, and that's just the way it is, and they might find another person that will accept that awkwardness, or just as much as equally as awkward as they are. But I would advise them to seek a life coach or a therapist or a psychiatrist or something like that to help them to get out of that, because it seems like and it feels like that it happened from like around maybe the first teacher or somewhere in that awkward, or maybe someone really broke their heart from like, child. So I would definitely get with the life coach, because or a therapist, something like that, because it doesn't necessarily them talking to other people cool, but there's still that awkwardness, there's still that vagueness. They have not healed from that particular ex, they have not gotten over that, and they're still clinging and hanging on to that concept of, and then to go and write a letter and things like that. I mean, yes, letters can be cute, and sometimes a woman, they look at the letter and be like, wow, this is really cute. They don't do this anymore because it can be old fashioned. That I'm a 70s baby. So when I was in school, people used to write letters. They used to leave it in your locker. And that wasn't always that they were shy or awkward, but sometimes it just was a cute romantic thing. So again, it's just the point of the ex, when May have mentioned of the ex, and then dealing with all of that, it just seemed like there's some struggle that happened from childhood. But that's just me reading. So I would seek someone to help you with that.
And real quick, I was wondering, do and Brooklyn and Amira can speak to this. Do women take points away from a guy if he needs to go see a dating or a life coach to help him with that, or do at this day and age do people don't care?
I don't see why he would tell tell her that he was seeing a dating coach. Like if he was learning to salsa or learning Spanish, he would learn Spanish and then meet this woman that speaks Spanish and speak Spanish to her. You know,
Mhm.
The in my experience, women are merciless if a man has no game. If
Yeah.
you do not have the ability to get to the point, to get your point across, to be charismatic, to at least be honest, to speak up, then in my experience as a teenager and as an adult, then that unless a woman really likes you for whatever reason, unless she finds you so compelling, so cute, so whatever, it will be punished mercilessly. You come out there, you fumble a ball, you can be out of there. Um, especially as you go up the chart uh, as far as market value. Everyone, whether they like it or not, has a certain market value, and there are things that you can do to spike that. You might have a winning personality and you bowl people over. You might be unusually attractive, right? You might be famous, or if
Mhm.
not famous, uh, you know, just have some kind of status in whatever realm you're talking about. You're at a conference, you're the keynote speaker. There's
Mhm.
500 people here, you're the keynote speaker. Even no matter what the conference could be on, um, it could be a paper mill conference. So out of all the people involved in the paper mill industry, 500 of you are here. You're the keynote speaker. You're an important person in this context. People are going to gravitate toward you and, you know, want to and care about what you think and what you say. So from that perspective, it's about value. We run toward what we feel like is positive value, and we run away from what is negative value. The problem with that in social interactions is people are going to run away from your awkwardness. They're going to run away from your potentially run away from your negative silence. Now, if you're the tall, dark, handsome, quiet type, they might not run away from your silence. But if you're weird and just sitting there staring and glaring, it's going to, you know, it might set off a more fight or flight response, you know, in the opposite sex. So
I think that's why.
I
think that's why a lot of women respond to ministers, because ministers, they, you know, they're important. They stand out. They are, you know, they believe in what they believe very strongly, and they're generally charismatic. So that's why a lot of, you know, women are attracted to religion and pastors, for example, for that reason. So
yeah, and a lot of pastors take advantage of that. I mean, you know, you have a religious woman, and you have a church with 80% women in it, and you know there is you know, not to run afoul of all the religious people on YouTube, but there is the there's the space and the opportunity to abuse that, and many have abused that.
mm-hmm. They be in the game to abuse it. Yeah. So, and a lot of, and let's just be honest, a lot of ministers are ex-pimps. So they realize they can make that same amount of money, wear the same clothes, and not have to go to church.
Or they have a need that needs to be fulfilled. Let's just be honest.
My flock is bigger now than it was when I was on the streets.
Right.
And it's legal. Legal.
Right. Legal pimping.
Yeah. At times, depending on what type of minister you are.
That's true.
But
legal.
Huh?
You said it's what?
Well,
I didn't hear what you said.
It's illegal. It depends on what.
Oh, legal?
Yeah. Then I'm going to saying how it depends on what type of minister you are, because some ministers.
It's not legal if it's the deacon's wife or something like that.
Well, that's a moral issue.
Okay.
That's a moral issue, not necessarily against the law. You know, this is morally wrong. I mean, kind of morally backstabbing, Jezebelish behavior.
Kind of.
So, yeah, I think I wouldn't personally. A lot of women come to us righteously. So if they have to go to a dating counsel or coach, or if they have to go to a life coach or someone to help them to get to me, hell yeah, I will accept that. And I don't think that makes a man weak because he wants to get help. I would rather be with a man who wants to get help than to deny that he doesn't need help, and then when we get together, it's horrible because he got some stuff going on that he needs. I don't think that's a weakness. I think that's a strength. And if he's willing to contact an elder or deal with somebody that's going to help him go to the next level, oh hell yeah, I'm thumbing him up. And if he tells me, I'm like, cool, what's up? We can go see it together before we get into this relationship. As a matter of fact, who do you talk to? I'm just saying.
There you go. Okay. All right. That's dope. All right. I want to thank you guys. You guys were awesome. This was a great panel. I want to start off with you, Amira. How can people get you in social media? And what should we be on the lookout for from you coming up forward?
Oh, y'all want me to go? Okay.
Ladies first.
Well, hey. Well, yeah, I have a lot of stuff going on. As you see, I posted my website is www.ask314life.com. And I'm always creating new washes. I'm always creating new herbs. I'm always creating new things that will help your line of healing. I have a new book that will be coming out soon. I'll keep pushing the date back and date back and date back because it's still going on. My book is still going on. Get it all the way out before I can get it. But anyway, that's coming out. I have a book that will be coming out pretty soon. And I will have another book that will be called Surviving a Leo because my king is a Leo. So I'm putting a book out. So it'll be two coming out in the near future. So they probably will come out simultaneously after one another. So pretty much I have a lot of workshops scheduled for anybody that needs healing in any form of fashion, whether it be energy healing, whether it be relationship, whether it be back to marriage is back together, or if you need to do a breakup and you want to do it the righteous way as opposed to doing it the wrong way, I'm here for that as well. If your children need counseling, if you need anything above counseling, life coaching, anything involving washings, oils, getting into when we talked about soul ties breaking or anything on that level, I'm definitely. This summer, I'm doing right now I'm doing a sale for May because my birthday was May the 3rd. Happy birthday to me, belated. Yes, thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
Yeah. So I will be doing for the rest of this remaining month, I will be taking a percentage off of all of my to get any reads, any type of healings. I will be taking off 99 cents of all services to meet the needs. So 502-208-9142.
That's what's up. All right. So Brooklyn, how can people get you on social media and such? And what do you have coming up? Is the 42% still going on?
The 42% is currently not going on. Steph has moved from DC to Washington State with her new husband. And there was no old husband, but with her husband. She moved, they got married. They're doing their thing out there on the West Coast.
And she kidnapped Jordan too.
Jordan's also out there. No, not
yeah.
Washington.
She abducted Jordan.
They're in Oregon.
Oregon, right.
Mm-hmm. So I'm still doing my work with the Paul C. Brunson Agency, matchmaking, day coaching. You can find me at pcbagency.com. You can find me on Instagram at king__Brooklyn. You can find me at Twitter at BrooklynPCB. And you can also find me on Facebook under Brooklyn Taylor. So that's what it is. I am working on a book, as yet untitled. It's been, people have been twisting my arm to do it. I've wanted to do it, and I have some other things going on right now professionally. So I am going to put a stipulation on myself to have that done by December. By my birthday, I will have the book done.
Oh, December too, right? I'm December 20th. I'm December 20th.
I'm December 2nd.
All right, that's what's up. All right, well, thank you so much. You can give me oh, yeah. Hey, man, I want you both back on real soon so we can chop it up some more. You can get me at Kente F on Twitter. And you can go to our website, indyradio.org. That's indyradio.org. And big shout out to Rashim, who had to leave a little bit early. We'll be back next week. We're doing Moral Dilemmas Part 6. So we have a bunch of moral dilemmas that I've cooked up. And we're going to talk with the panel about what they would do in these situations. So it should be a lot of fun. You guys have a great week. And I'm a big Laker fan, and tomorrow's the draft lottery, so everybody out here, we're all on pins and needles about this draft lottery, hoping that the fix is on in our behalf. So you guys have a great week, and God bless.
You too.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. care.